Thank you.
Right, we're still doing that date, February 10th.
Whenever you want.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Village of Mount Sterling Council meeting for January 27th, 2025 to order. Please have a roll call.
All right, so bear with me because everybody's in new seating and I had it in my mind a different way, so. Craig?
Here.
Becky?
Here.
Ross?
Here.
Barry?
Here.
Joyce?
Here.
David?
Here.
All's present?
All right, shall we do, everyone please stand.
Lord, thank you for the day you prepared for us today, Lord. And Lord, be with our village tonight, Lord, and all the citizens, and be with our law enforcement, our council and mayor. And Lord, give us the wisdom, yet keep everything as we can reasonable, Lord, and touch us with your holy hand. In Jesus' wonderful name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry.
All right, may I please have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 13th, 2025?
You have that motion.
please? Thank you, David. Thank you, Ross.
That was David, Ross? Mm-hmm. Okay, roll call is Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
And David?
Yes.
My mayor's report tonight is remarkably brief because it's really cold outside, or has been for the last couple of days. I want to thank our service crews for responding at all hours of the day or night. Every possible water line, hopefully, has broke for the winter. There is no more. I am hopeful that we get through this next bout, if we do have additional weather, without any more of this. We've been fighting broken water lines for about the last 2.5 or almost pushing 3 weeks. So this village has had its share of main breaks, and we appreciate everyone's patience as we've repaired those and gotten them underway. For the village's benefit, we have tried very hard to put signs up and let everyone know that there are main breaks, and if there's running water, we know about it. It's been reported. We're doing something about it. If it's in someone's yard or if it's in someone's business, we've tried to be really responsive about that, even after hours. We've had our rough share of weather, and I think we would all agree that if we could move this place to Florida right about now, we probably would. But I'm hopeful that this will be, hopefully by the end of January, we'll be running down the end of this really brutal weather, and we'll continue to get after things, that aren't main breaks. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and pitch it over to our President Pro Tem, Joyce Phillips, for her comments as we get the meeting underway.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. It's nice to see so many faces in our audience. We do appreciate everyone's attendance this evening, and I would like to thank Council for their confidence in me for another term as their President Pro Tem. I appreciate this Council, and I look forward to another successful year. My goal for 2025 is, as always, to give the best possible service to our village and its residents. I feel we can do this by being fiscally responsible, listening to the concerns of our residents, continuing to maintain a pleasant and safe environment at Mason Park, continuing the repairs of our infrastructure, along with keeping our village a safe and fun community that others desire to move to and/or visit. In closing, by working together, creating a positive atmosphere, and being diligent in our efforts, I believe these goals can be met with all of our efforts. I want to thank you all.
All right, thank you very much for those comments. We do have public comments this evening, so if your agenda says no, let's correct that right now. We do have them. I'm going to ask everyone to try to stick to about 3 minutes or so, because we do have a fair number of folks. And the first person I'm going to call up would be Mr. Jeff Martin. Please pick one of the two sides so you get your voice into the microphone there.
Yeah. All right, can you please state your name and the address that you reside at?
Jeff Martin, 299 East Columbus Street. Park and Rec Director for approximately 5 years for the village. Recently just stepped down in June, I believe it was June. I think we're all here for, I'm assuming, the same thing, to see if we need a Park and Rec committee. I listened to the last minutes of the last meeting, and just a few things, and I know I'm going to forget some things I wanted to say, but the youth league, Kathy, you're going to say Kathy's name a lot. Kathy Carson's in charge of the youth league. Volunteers, does an amazing job. You go out to the park anytime in the spring. There's 175 kids last year signed up, and you couldn't even find a parking spot any night out there. Kathy has to deal with the sign-ups, the uniforms, the umpires, the crazy parents, the crazy coaches, and concessions every night. So Kathy and her group deserves the biggest thank you we can find. And of course, George, Joe, and Jack. I talked to George today. You can't find three of the best workers you ever seen for this village. Great. It kills my soul when you see them on Facebook and people are dogging the village workers. They do an amazing job. But with the minutes last week, Dave, who I love, said when he was coaching, and I'm sure it was 100 years ago at Veterans Park.
Seemed like it.
I coached, I was part of the youth league, and it was the youth league, and the village had nothing to do with us, nothing. We mowed, we did everything, and it was horrible. There was no backing. Kathy don't need the village to say, if you need something, come and see us. The village needs to say, Kathy, what can we do for you? Because that's our kids out there, 175 kids. We should be out there game days. We should be out there opening day, all of us, throwing first pitches out. These are our kids, this is our community. I mean, Barry was sitting there talking about 16% of the kids and 50% of them play ball out here. The only number I got is 175 of our youth is out there playing ball. 44,000 we spent out at the park. I made 16,000 before I stepped down, so I don't know where the rest of the money went, but all I know is the park's got 5 fields and it's packed. So we've done the village thing where they don't participate, and it's horrible. She needs all the backing she can get. Like I said, I know I'm gonna forget something. I know Barry said, why have a committee, $900 a year, and we never get nothing done. All we do is fight and argue. 2 years ago, and before, we got mulch, food grants, playground equipment, like 6 benches. I'm looking at Courtney just for a shake. 5 or 6 benches, 10 trees out to the park. We're talking about a dog park, walking path to the park from the village. All that came from the committee. We got things done. Without a committee, nothing gets done. This year, we didn't do anything at the park. I stepped down and nothing got done. You gotta have a park and rec committee. So that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bill Martin, please come on down. You are next. Would you also please state your address?
Billy Martin, 139 North Market. Jeff did a good job winging it, and I wasn't going to take that chance. I wrote it down, what I got to say. My name is Billy Martin, for anybody that doesn't know me. I've been a long-time resident of Mount Sterling. I've served as mayor and council. So I realize the responsibilities that each and every one of you have, the difficult decisions that you make for us as a community. With that said, I would like to take a moment to discuss a decision that I heard that was going to be voted on this evening, which is relinquishing our park committee. I say our park committee because it is our park. It's a community park, not just as we see it today, but what it can be for the generations to come. You have people that are willing to work and create a better park, someone that cares and is willing to do the work pretty much for nothing compared to the money that's donated and the fees that are charged. I've heard, like other people, that there's going to be another park and a bigger and better park. And I hope there is another park besides Mason Park, because those are gems of the village, of the community. And we have plenty of room for 2 parks, especially with the potential of growth that we have going on in this part of Madison County with younger residents with kids. So I'm here to ask council to please put aside any personal feelings, personal issues, because you were voted in by the people of this town to make decisions that will benefit this town. And dissolving the Parks and Recreation Committee does not benefit as a community. My feelings. Now, does anybody have any questions of me? If not, thank you all very much.
Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
All right. Jacob Keever, please come on down. And please state your address.
Jacob Keever, 559 Wingate Place North. I came here tonight originally to talk about the speed signs that the sheriff got for the village, but now I have to defend our park. I've had a very productive meeting in London with the sheriff and his patrol lieutenant, and we had talked about how he can better serve our community. And in this meeting, the signs came up. He was very upset to hear that those signs have not been put in place. He was especially shocked that I had to be the one to come and talk to him about these problems. As for the park, the people of this village deserve to have a park to use in the best condition possible. It is to let a vendetta against council members and specific people in our community that needs to stop. It's a shame. The President Pro Temp expressed last year during movie night that she wanted the park maintenance to be completely volunteer run, which is not realistic. The village has put little to no money into the park, just cutting the grass, buying brick dust, and $900 a year for council members. The majority was paid through grants and donations. Even the sheriff mentioned in our meeting how great the park is and how they like playing games there, and expressed that council should spend more money for a bike and walking access to the park so that citizens can safely travel there without a car. The Parks Committee is bigger than the park, and the transparency it brings on how money is spent is important, but it is also about bringing in outsiders, and the money they spend is important, but it is about the tournaments bring in people to our village. When we had the water main break on Jefferson, the village did not tell residents whether they needed to boil water or not, leaving residents feeling uneasy. When you add all these things together, you get a lack of leadership and transparency that is apparent and leaves residents feeling insecure in the group's ability to govern and serve the people of the village. I do not say this lightly. Those in government who indeed want to cast a dark shadow on this village should resign. This is the people's government. It is the people's park. It is the people's village. There is an election this year. I plan on running, and I plan on bringing 3 good people with me so that the people have good representation. That is all.
All right, Patty Hamilton is up next. And state your address, please, for us.
Patty Hamilton. I'm actually here as a guest of Jacobs, and I am at 22798 Morris Slice Road, Stoutsville, Ohio. I live in Pickaway County. And I'm going to tell you, common sense is my first word. You know, common sense is the phrase that we as President Trump came in, he said that we need to be the country of common sense. Well, to me, common sense means that the grant money that is out there should be used for our children. And I think that our children deserve that. And the children of Mount Sterling and this county and Madison County deserve the same thing. I know that we are very fortunate in Pickaway County. We just received a grant for another park. We have two beautiful parks, one in downtown Circleville and one outside of town in Circleville. Yes, people donated money. You know, when they passed away, they donated money to those parks. And then grants came in. And then property tax owners paid for part of that. There's many different ways to keep those parks going. I'm not really sure where the grant money goes in this town, but I know that they are very frugal with it in our county, and they're very much tuned with the community because they do 5Ks. You talked about having a bike path, a running path. I was there with the sheriff, and that sounds so amazing to be able to do that. Those are the kind of things that we're doing in Circleville. I think that Mount Sterling can do the same thing. It's a beautiful community. I've been here several times knocking doors, and trust me, you guys have an awesome community center and wonderful people over there that are willing to help. Your township, Pleasant Township, is a great asset to you, and I think that you should utilize your wielding power together as a team for the benefit of kids. And I think that if we don't do that, we're really not growing a good community, because where do we want our kids to come from? We want kids to know that we have leaders and mentors, and that's where they learn it, is on the ball field. I think that everybody that's been up here so far has really hit that home, and if you will, hit a home run for these kids. So please consider remembering that parks are very instrumental in the growth of our children and our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Melanie Fritz, please come down. And state your address for us, please.
My name's Melanie Fritz. I live at 471 Wingate Place South. I'm just here tonight because I heard that you guys were trying to abolish the Parks and Recs Committee. I would just like to ask you guys not to do that. I have children in this community. They utilize that park all the time. They like to go there. They like to walk the path. The boys like to work out there. They're always there playing basketball. There's some soccer goals out there without nets. There's always groups of kids out there kicking those soccer balls. There's nothing else in this community for the children to do. I highly recommend that you guys spend more money at the park. I have heard rumors that the mayor and other council members have stated they would rather shut the gate and close the park completely, and I'm very sad to hear that. These kids have nothing else in this community. So please, there's only one person on this council that I would put in charge, because if I had to get something done, I would call Becky Martin. She seems to be able, she's the only one that is able to do things like get the swings built, other things. She's got plans to grow the park. If there's no school close by, the only other thing that we have that would encourage people to want to come to Mount Sterling is our parks. And I know the school board just had a meeting to discuss, you know, what to do with the next levy or anything. Did any of you guys attend and ask them to bring it to Mount Sterling? Bring it closer so we could build the community up? You guys ran on building it up, but closing down the park is really taking us back a step or two. So I encourage you to keep the Parks and Recs, and I encourage you to put Becky Martin as the chair, because nothing got done last year when Ms. Phillips was the chair of the parks. That's when the fighting, that's when all the meetings got canceled. But the year before, when Becky was in charge, things got done. So maybe you need to reevaluate your leadership for it, and you can get more done. You can feel more productive in that. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right, we have another. Kathy Carson, please come down. and state your address for us.
Kathy Carson, 349 Yankeetown Street. Well, I didn't expect all this. I came mainly to talk about our upcoming season. There's going to be a lot of changes for the Youth League. We will now be a part of London and West Jeffs League. So we will have them coming here. Again, growing the park is what I'm trying to do. We've had several more people come at me for tournaments starting in April to go all the way through October. I don't have specific dates for you right now because I left I came straight from Girl Scouts here. So we do have a lot of things, and there are going to be things that we need, and without having a committee, who do I go to? You know, you're my point of person right now, but there are a lot of things to discuss, and I'm sure you don't want to spend your days all day with me. So,
I spend my days with everybody, but okay, go ahead.
but, because there are some things I would like to change when it comes to like tournaments. I would like to see you guys have just a flat fee for them to pay to use the park instead of getting 50% of their parking, because that affects their kids, because their parking is how they fundraise. So if we could come up with a different way to do that, that way it could be the same for everybody, because there's some people, as you saw with money last year, that it's not dependable to depend on others to do that. I just would rather get away from it and just have one set fee for them to pay. There's also, I heard talk about movie night. If you don't want the Youth League to be a part of concessions to keep movie night going, that's fine. I didn't know that you wanted money from my concessions. I did hear something about that somebody was upset because I didn't give money over from concessions, or that other Parks and Recs people were not part of movie night. Even though I'm not part of you guys, I'm still part of Parks and Rec, and I was at every movie night. So, and I was there helping out and giving my time. So, yeah, I will put my dates on the calendar.
Thank you.
And then when I have them all together, I will bring them to you guys, but I will make sure I do that. But yeah, I need somebody to be able to talk to, because we have a lot of things going on with the season.
I've always
so.
been your point of contact. I
Yeah.
will continue to do that. And for the public's benefit, we have a community calendar here in Town Hall. And so we get a lot of interest in using the shelter house. So if you want to do a birthday or you want to do a party of some kind out at the park, which we get a lot of, I highly encourage you to take a look at the community calendar, because Kathy's got a lot of stuff going on it. So ask for it just by going to the water department window and just saying, hey, can I take a look? I'm thinking about having a birthday party, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So like I said, we have a lot of people. Circleville is coming here because they lost their ball fields. They'll be one of the people holding tournaments. So we're going to have a lot of outside people coming here. So the park will be bringing a lot of people here.
Can I make,
Kathy, I got a question.
Yes.
When did you get this? When London, all them, are they, West Jeff gonna bring their teams down here then? Or?
Yes. Yes,
didn't
they
know that.
emailed me. They, part of theirs, they was London, West Jeff, Plain City, and Fairbanks. Fairbanks left, Plain City joined somewhere else, and they got a hold of me. I don't know if we'll still be a part of Monroe and Scioto, because they haven't given a decision yet, but I am going to participate with London and West Jeff and keep it all Madison County if we have to, so.
good, good. And I do know the American Legion reached out to me, and they also have softball. And they are going to be talking to, I referred them to the mayor.
Okay.
So they're going to be talking to the mayor and try to get on the calendar for also some softball tournaments. So, that's, I'm referring everyone to him per his request. So it looks like we're going to be pretty filled up this summer with tournaments, so thank you
Yes,
for that
like
as
starting in
well.
April, like it was
Yeah.
kind of early in the year, but
Yeah.
I know last year, October, every weekend, there was a tournament at the park.
Yeah.
And I have more and more people coming to me. My thing right now is volunteers, because our board doesn't want to be stuck working every weekend from April to October trying to do concessions.
Sure.
So, but it, like I said, it brings people from all over to our park. So the more money we put into our park, I mean, we already hear about how great our fields are, and the park is wonderful. I would just like to keep that going. if it brings people here, I would think that everybody would want that. It builds our community up.
Right, and based on the comment you said about someone being upset about concessions, no one has ever expressed any negativity about your opening concessions on movie nights. That has always been welcome. The comment that perhaps if it continues, depending upon the situation, there might be a small fee charged, nothing is written in stone on that. We haven't even discussed it. It was just a comment made. Okay, so please don't feel that anyone is upset about that. We're not even sure where movie nights are going to be held. It could be Mason Park. It could be the community center. We don't know. Okay, everything right now is contingent upon how the votes come out. Nothing is written in
I
stone,
was
Kathy.
actually gonna come to you anyway and ask to take over movie night.
Okay.
Because I would like to see more movie nights than
Okay.
just the 3 months that we have.
Well, again, that's based upon the licensing, which the American Legion was kind enough last year to donate money. So we have the licensing money for this year for 3 movie nights, I think minus a couple of $100, if I'm not mistaken. And so, you know, that's something that's food for thought that you can bring to council. Not everything needs a committee.
Right.
Okay, so if you have anything else, we'll be glad to address it with you. But nothing's changing as far as with the youth league. Absolutely nothing is changing. You still work with the mayor. Everything still comes through council.
Okay. All right.
Okay? Thanks, Kathy. As
you.
always, we appreciate everything you do down there. You do a great job.
Okay, we have no executive session tonight, so that means we move on to department reports. Sheriff's Department, come on down.
You can come in front of the,
Microphone there. Give us if you would, please give us a quick survey of what you have going on and maybe some, yeah.
I'm Deputy Parks of the Madison County Sheriff's Office. From December 9th, 2024 to today at around 10:30 a.m., we have responded to over 220 calls for service. Out of those 220, I've only highlighted the more unusual or urgent calls for service that we've taken. So we have taken 1 report of an assault, 2 breaking and enterings, 1 death, an overdose, 2 OVI drivers were arrested, 1 prowler. We had 2 sexual offenses, 7 suspicious people, 14 suspicious vehicles, 5 thefts, 48 traffic stops, 1 trespassing, 3 unwanted guests, 7 vehicle crashes, and 2 persons with arrest warrants. A lot of those are, and I speak on behalf of my fellow deputies, a lot of those are self-initiated activity, us driving around, being present, seeing these suspicious people, seeing these suspicious vehicles, but also the residents for reporting the suspicious activity that we can be aware of. We can't be everywhere at once, obviously, so we appreciate everybody's concerns for reporting things they feel are unusual or things that are not welcome in this town. So that's really all I have.
Okay, any questions for the deputy this evening?
One question for you. During the snow removal time, if a person don't move their car at a particular time, can the sheriff department make it move it so they can remove the snow?
I don't have a definitive answer. I do believe if there's signs posted that say no parking zones, we can enforce that. I don't believe we can if there's no signs posted. But that'd be a good question for the sheriff himself or maybe somebody higher up than me.
Okay, well, thank you.
I could try to get an answer for you from that.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Questions for the deputy? All right, thank you for your report tonight. We do not have a law director's report. We do have zoning and building in the house this evening, so let's go ahead and hear from them.
There's no zoning report in lieu of the public hearing that's later.
Okay. Any other comments about building or anything we should be aware of?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, I think that there's more to come on that. We'll see what develops, but thank you. Fiscal officer.
okay, council have any questions? Packets were sent out Friday, I didn't hear anything. Concerns, comments? Just wanna speak, talk to me? Other than that, year-end balancing is completed. Again, still waiting for the state auditor. As everybody knows, it is sent to them for their review. Everything looks good. Working on an audit right now. As you guys know, the audit was pushed back due to a death in the audit company themselves. So I have a phone call with them tomorrow to come and collect those documents for our audit. And then again, that will be displayed to everybody for visual purposes and public purpose for that. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the appropriation status report, the revenue status report, the receipt listing report, the payment listing report, the comparison of budget and appropriated report, the cash summary report, and the reader reports.
You'll have that motion.
We got a
Two.
David Craig dueling
David
dueling
first.
banjo action going on.
Okay, so can I place David as the first motion, Craig as the second motion? Okay, roll call, Becky?
Yes.
Ross? Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
David?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I have two pieces of documents for you guys to circulate and sign, if you could, please. And I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Now it's on to committee reports. This will be relatively straightforward. Let's see. Motion to approve the committee assignments for 2025. Is there one of those on the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second? Thank you, Craig.
That was Joyce first, Craig second. Okay, roll call. Ross?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
And Becky?
No.
Motion is passed.
Motion is passed to make the committee assignments for the year. We have no committee updates because they haven't met yet.
Correct.
Do we have a sense as to when the committee schedules will be published?
Yes, so I have, I received some from the chairs that we needed to circulate out on, after tonight's approval, because obviously I can't post anything official because council has to approve those assignments. So, that will be sent to you guys in email tomorrow. I didn't see any conflicts with the people that did approach me in regards to the times and the meetings and stuff, so I think we've met all of that. But I will be sending those out to you, so please look at your email and confirm those. And then they will be posted to the website, and then obviously everything's posted to the lobby.
Thank you. You beat me to it. Thank you very much. All right, so that takes us to ordinances and resolutions tonight. First up is ordinance 2024-09.
Okay, and that will be where Tom Hale, if you would please come up to the mic. And then just let me know the time that you have, and we'll start the public hearing.
We'll do the public hearing rules. We'll open the public hearing. You hear from staff, and then you'll hear from the applicant if present. Then anyone that's for, anyone that's against may speak. At that time, the applicant will have the opportunity for rebuttal. After rebuttal, we'll close that portion of the public hearing. I'm not part of your discussion, although you may ask me questions, but at that time, you'll make a motion and a second to get it into discussion, and then ultimately to your vote. So we're gonna open, what time is it?
7:34.
We'll open the public hearing at 7:34. Your staff report is, a few years back, if you'll recall, our zoning map was redone for the entire village. Property at 73 South London, which you have a copy of the map, was erroneously zoned in the business district. It's actually going into the R4 district, which is adjacent to it. It was brought to our attention because the property cannot do anything in the business district in relation to being a residence. It's actually a rental property, I believe, or an investment property. So staff is making a recommendation that we rezone it back to the R4, which is where it should be. Any questions of staff?
And again, this would be on the third reading. It's past two readings. You guys have your maps in front of you.
Applicant present? Anyone for the rezoning case would like to speak? Anyone against the rezoning case that would like to speak? Hearing none?
Hearing none.
At this time, we can close the public hearing at
7:35.
7:35. At this time, you'll need a motion and a second to discuss it, and then you'll need a vote at your third reading.
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right, is there a motion to accept the rezoning of the applicant that is at 73 South London Street from a B1 to an R4? Okay, so that was a motion placed by Ross.
I second.
Barry was a second. Is there any discussion?
Will this put this, I got a question here, will this put this in, then, when we're zoned this, then, it's gonna make it like, no longer be just residential, will be both ways,
No,
basically?
it'll stay residential use.
Okay,
See that blue color?
Yes.
It'll extend it over one parcel, this
okay,
parcel here.
okay. Well,
Okay.
that's what we'll find out.
All right.
Other comments, questions?
Any discussion?
All right, please do
right.
the honors.
So this is for ordinance 2024-09, an ordinance for a rezoning of the property at 73 South London Street from a B1 to an R4. This is on the third reading.
May I please have a motion to place this on the third reading?
Have that motion?
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Second?
Okay, that was David, then Craig was second. Okay, roll call. Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
And Ross?
Yes.
Okay, now may I have a motion for passage of ordinance 2024-09?
I'll make, sorry.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, that's Craig.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Barry.
So that was Craig, Barry. Okay, roll call. Joyce?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Barry?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-09 has passed.
Thank you. I think the resident will be very pleased to hear that. All right, we are now turning to Resolution 2024-15. This is a pretty special one. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is also on the third reading. This is a resolution tentatively awarding the construction contracts for the Mount Sterling 150,000-gallon elevated storage tank project to Caldwell Tanks, Inc., and the demolition of the old water tower to Alpha Demolition, Inc., subject to final approval for financing for the project from the Ohio EPA. This is on the third reading.
May I please have a motion to place this on the third reading?
You have that motion.
Thank you.
I'll
Is there a
second.
David? All
That was
right.
Joyce. David?
Yeah.
Okay, roll call. David?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Thank you. May I please have a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-15?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a
Second.
second? Thank you, Joyce.
Okay, so Craig first, Joyce second.
Mhm.
Roll call. Craig?
Yes.
Becky? Ross?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Resolution 2024-15 is passed.
All right, thank you. It's a big one.
Long time coming.
That's just for the public's benefit. We're constructing a new water tower here, and it's been 3 years in the making, and this approval tonight will allow us to actually begin moving forward. So thank you for that. Ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance accepting the,
Want me to go ahead and read?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
An ordinance accepting 2025 estimated tax rates and revenues for Mount Sterling, Ohio. This is the first reading.
May I please have a motion to place this on the first reading?
Have that motion?
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ross.
That was David. Ross? Okay, roll call. Becky?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Craig?
Yes.
Passed on the first reading.
Wonderful. Next order of business is ordinance 2025-02.
It's an ordinance amending the rules of council. This is placed on the first reading.
May I please have a motion to place it on the first reading?
Yeah, that.
Thank you, Barry. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Craig.
That was Barry. Craig?
May I bring up one thing, Mayor, first?
Yes, go ahead.
It's gonna be a hard situation for me. I wanna talk, because I know all these people out here, and I've been a member of the youth league at one time. And like Jeff was kidding me, we was primitive back then and everything, but I can see their point and the power of the people, and right now, it's gonna be a hard decision for me. I'm gonna admit tonight, because I know everybody out here, and it's gonna be tough. And I just want to say that sometimes the majority rules sometimes, and I just want to make my comment.
Good deal. Thank you, David. Is
Thank
there
you.
any other comments?
I
Go
do
ahead,
have
please.
Discussion. So I want to thank everyone for coming tonight and all their comments supporting the Parks and Rec Committee. With that said, I want to reiterate a few things that were said tonight through the Parks and Rec Committee. This isn't just from having a park. Everyone here on council acts like they want the park to stay. They want it to just take care of itself. It's not going to happen. When we have had the Parks and Rec Committee, I've been on council, this is starting my 8th year. We have seen, as Jeff mentioned, 6 benches have been put in. Those have all been through donations of fundraising. 9 trees have been put in. We've started movie nights. We began movie nights on Town Hall lawn several years ago, and we outgrew it. And then we wanted to take it to our beautiful park. The goal for our park is to make the park grow, not to leave it status quo. It's disheartening when I hear our leaders speak about our park and say it's good as it is. We need a bike path, a walking path. We need a dog park. We need a splash pad. We need to connect the 2 pieces of land that we have. Our trees committee has unearthed Mount Sterling's oldest tree, and we are beginning to develop that, and there is a great access to our park. There's an opportunity for restrooms over in that side of the park, where unfortunately our past leaders didn't think twice. Everyone sitting on council didn't think twice about dropping 4 wells in our park, making our park no longer a park, it's now our water field. We're not allowed to put, we found out, wells and water. We're not allowed to put water and sewer out there so the kids can have restrooms and the adults can have restrooms. And that's really unfortunate, but that's because things got past council in years gone by. And people pulled the wool over their eyes. And that's what I'm asking you to do now, is not to allow those kind of things to happen, because we will never see those projects that I mentioned if we don't have a committee working out those problems and working out a comprehensive plan for our parks. Our parks, I've tried to tell this council that our parks is what will make young families want to move to our community. Families with children, families that want to live here. You know, I can walk and chew gum. I can still keep nice streets. We can still have good water, but we can also have amazing parks. Okay, that is why people, they're not going to say, oh, that Mount Sterling doesn't have many potholes, let's move there. They're going to say that Mount Sterling has a beautiful park, let's move there. Hey, they're working on a dog park there too. Hey, they're going to get a walking path out there too. I want to tell you, through the committee, we started movie nights. We also started a youth program at Summer Jam. Summer Jam's been a new event we've had for about the past 5 years. And when I say under me, I mean to take no credit. I have had so many helpers, volunteers, also with me in these projects, but with Summer Jam, over the past few years, we gave out more than 100 fishing poles to our youth. We provided them training and opportunities for fishing. We also provided more than 140 life vests and kayaks to our children through Summer Jam, through Parks and Rec Committee. We also provided more than 100 bike helmets and gave away 5 bikes through the Parks and Recs Committee, through the fundraising that we did. And last year, we did nothing. I was taken off the chair. We did nothing for them. And that was a very sad day. So I want to say that I suggested this at our work session we had just last week, that I would be more than happy. I run the Trees Committee, and I'm the only council member on that committee. And I said I would be more than happy to be the leader of Parks. I can be the only one, and I can get me some strong volunteers. It was brought up that the $900 a year, council members get paid $25. For all of you that don't know, we get paid $25 for attending a committee meeting. I'd be willing to waive my $25 and run Parks, because Parks and the children of this community are my passion, and they always have been. And I urge council to listen to your community and do the right thing and keep the Parks and Rec Committee. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yep.
I just wanted to say, based upon another council member's ideal, we should have an independent committee, not that's ruled or controlled by a council. I'm for, if anybody wants to start an independent committee, let's let them do it. Let's let them bring see, if you understand this, is that 3 members of council are on the committee. Now, when I started on the committee last year, the 2 people that weren't part of council didn't show up but 60% of the time. So we only had 3 people on council arguing most of the time. I think an independent committee that would bring things to council, because council at the end of the day is the one that votes for it. But, and another issue is, every money that was given as a grant money last year was spent on the parks. There was no money not wasted for anything else. It was all spent to the park. And I'm not against the committee. I sit in a committee with two people that argue for 45 minutes. And nothing gets done. So nothing gets done. It don't matter whose fault it is. What's that?
Don't put them both on the committee.
Well, how about doing an independent committee?
Can I-
From the people.
Okay.
I'd like to
One
respond.
at a time, please.
I
Hold
need- I
on,
have
one
something to say
one
first,
at a
please.
time, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so.
Then you can be on it too.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. Another solution, first of all, we did get stuff done last year. Okay, contrary to popular belief, we did get stuff done. We had successful movie nights. Kathy had successful concession stand nights because of the movie nights. Baseball was still very successful. Tournaments were still very successful. We spent $108,000 in the last 16 to 18 months on the park. We're budgeted to spend $6,000 to $8,000 this year. Funding for the park is not changing. It's an organizational change. It is not changing any of the structure of the park. We will continue to work with the Youth League. We're still doing service upgrades. Volunteers are still going to drive park events. We have volunteers right now that are ready to be on committees. We could designate one person on council to be a spokesperson to help with the committee. The mayor is still going to continue to oversee the maintenance and the upkeep of the park and work with the Youth League on contracts for tournaments. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you. We agree with you. We love our park. We want it to succeed. It's not going away. It will expand. We can't afford a splash park. We can't afford a dog park. We don't have the money for those things. We can continue to seek grants. We want to do that. I'm looking at the aquatic grant right now. It has changed. We can't even look at it until the 1st of February. So we're not sitting here doing nothing. I don't know where you guys are getting that. I have a good idea, but it's not true. No one said anything about changing anything or anything going away. My grandson plays ball down there. Of course I'm going to support it. So, tell us what you want it really to be. Do you want the village residents to continue to pay out $900 a year for a committee? Yes. I don't want, well, okay, yes. Okay. Okay. Every committee, for your finance committee, for your water committee, yes.
Then what makes a difference
The park is an event, Kathy. I agree with you, but the park is an event. It's a very important event, but it's an event that can be based on volunteers. Volunteers. You volunteer at the Youth League. I volunteer for movie nights, but that's, it can still be done, and it can be done quite successfully. There are other organizations that I've called that my family are very, very involved in. They are very successful based on volunteers. And they go through their councils for things. They don't all have separate committees. You can do it either way you want to. It is not personal with me. I don't care how we do it. But when I have council members that are reaching out to me that would like to see if we can structure it a different way, just like representing the people, I represent this council. So if they decide to go a different way, that's the way we go. It's not personal.
I have something
Yep,
else to say.
go ahead.
Okay.
And we kind of need to wrap it up. here.
I'm going to wrap it up. Just in response to what Barry had said, the volunteer idea, that's always awesome. And I've been a volunteer my entire adult life. I volunteered for the Youth League over 20 years as a coach, as a field maintenance, as president, because I love the children, I love the parks. But with that said, as the parks chairman a couple of years ago, we tried to start a Friends of the Park volunteer group to aid, just like the library has a Friends of the Library, to aid us, to help us with projects. But unfortunately, as all of you that have volunteered in your life know, those volunteers are few and far between, and a lot of times, and Joyce just got done telling this in the meeting the other day, she had 2 volunteers that were gonna do all these things at the park, and one got more hours at work, and one started her own business. That's life. That's what happens to volunteers. We are elected officials that are being given the honor to do this for our community, and at the cost of $900 a year. And I just said, I will volunteer, I'll take it all on myself, and I'll do it for free, okay? And, you know, excuse me, as far as the $118,000 that was thrown out there we have spent on the park, I just want everyone to know how deceptive things like that are when they're said. Those were all grants. Those were all grants and donations. None of that came out of the village coffer as far as that money goes, okay? Those were grants that had no match money. That's where we got our 3 bays of swing sets, because our former mayor applied for ODNR grant, and we worked hard as a Parks and Rec committee to plan that out and get it just the way we wanted it, and we made it happen. If there was a volunteer group, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get them to come in and spend hours and hours and hours on projects. You're not gonna get them to say, well, let's build a dog park. They don't have that authority. They don't have any control of the money. And speaking of the money, Kathy Carson herself, through all these tournaments, brought in thousands of dollars she donated back to the park from parking only. And the Chamber of Commerce, which I was president of last year, we had food trucks, 3 First Friday food trucks, and we paid for those food trucks to be in this town to give all of you community members the opportunity for something different that year. That money we paid, the businesses, went to the park, and we're gonna quibble over $900. We're talking about thousands of dollars has been given to the park just last year, and we're trying to use as an excuse $900. That's ludicrous, okay? And last year, something Jacob said up here is when he was volunteering at movie night, last year he was told by our chair of parks last year that she was going to, did not think that Parks and Rec committee was useful. Now, why do you put yourself as chair of a committee that you're trying to get rid of?
I would say that that is not an accurate statement. I never said that to Jacob Keever. Jacob, no, I didn't. No, it's my word against yours, sir.
On
No,
that
I
note,
didn't.
we have a motion pending and need
I
to
would
deal
never
with
say
that.
that.
So unless there's more to come, we have a motion pending which has been made and seconded, and we need to vote on it. Please,
Alright,
may I
so-
please have a roll call?
Yes, so, just to come back to the motion, Barry was first, Craig was second. Okay, roll call. Ross?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
David?
No.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
No.
Motion has passed on the first reading.
All right.
Crazy. No collaboration, no cooperation. It's outrageous. You guys should all resign, none of you care about this village. It's really outrageous.
On that note, we're going to roundtable.
You need $900? I give it to you. You need $900? I'll give it to you.
Make it order, Mayor.
Yeah, order.
Order,
Call for order.
please. The meeting is still ongoing. All right,
Okay.
roundtable discussion.
On roundtable, item 1, announce my record retention will be meeting Friday, February 7th at 8 a.m.
It's the first Friday.
Yes.
Friday.
Yeah.
And I want to mention that the tree and beautification will meet February the 3rd at 1 o'clock. And I also want to let the community know that according to Rule 10 of our Rules of Council, item number 13, there is public speaking and comments after roundtable. So all of you can have an opportunity to tell council what you think as soon as this roundtable session is over.
I want to bring up tonight, I'm glad to see everybody turn out, and I'm glad to how you defend the kids. And I always said, this is what Benjamin Franklin told the Continental Conference. It's the people that does your government, and the people have to turn out to get what you want. And I'm proud of all what you did and come out tonight. Thank you.
It was falling on deaf ears, so
Thank
the
you.
compliment doesn't
Thank
really
you.
win.
Thank you.
It's falling on deaf
Hold on.
What, can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the nuisance and abatement committee, and anybody who wants to volunteer, we need volunteers. And one of the things that we can do is if you see anything in disrepair, let's bring it up. I can only ask for volunteers.
See, that's the problem. You want volunteers, but you guys don't want to do any of the work.
Wait a minute, no.
Listen, hey, you guys-
Hold on,
if
one
we
at a
have
time.
comments, we have to come up here. and
Yeah,
please
we have to
state-
come up here.
There's a committee. We have so many people.
Hold on, pause just a second. We're still in council roundtable. We'll open up to the floor in just a moment, please.
There are so many people that are on the council that are on that committee, and we have so many private citizens. Yeah, two. We have one person, and I need another person. So anybody that wants to help, why, I mean, anybody who wants to help out.
All right.
That's
Any
it,
other
all I
co-
gotta
any
say.
other comments
Oh, and
in
by the
roundtable?
way, we're planning a spring cleanup with the church. I'd like to get anybody that's involved with that February 10th. We would like to get together and have a meeting about it.
Okay. Any other council comments for roundtable? Okay, that means public is open. Go ahead.
I do have a question.
You need to come up here and state your name and address.
The busted pipes you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Kathy Carson, 349 Yankee Town.
Yep.
Do you guys have a hotline or an emergency number?
We do. If you can call in to town hall and leave a message, we collect them on the weekends and at nights,
And also for faster service, you can go to the sheriff's department.
or the fire department.
Okay, because that's something, because I had a busted pipe.
Yep,
and
I did too.
I think everybody on council was probably called by different people.
Yep.
The water ran all night because we didn't know
Oh,
that you
I-
called the
I-
fire department
I
or the
believe
police
we got out
department.
to you, but okay.
Yeah, not till the next morning. So
Okay.
it ran all night. George came out the next morning at 8:30, but it ran all night because we didn't know if there was a number to call.
Okay.
Or is that on the website?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. We should put it there. I will take care of that immediately. That is a very good suggestion, and given the last 10 days in
I don't know
particular,
if it
we
is
should
or
have it
not.
out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, go ahead.
Jacob Keever. I just want to make a
So you
comment.
Address,
your address?
address, please.
559 Wingate Place.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment on volunteers at the park. You know, I volunteered every movie night. We started the first movie night with 6 people, and they were very enthusiastic. And by the end of movie night of the third one, it was me, the president pro temp, and her husband and son were the only people helping. Volunteers are great.
Caitlin Cole came.
And I would love people to be a part of their community. But we have committee spots that are open to citizens that we can't even fill. So thinking that we can have volunteers at the park is a pie in the sky dream at this moment. And that's all I'm gonna
Thank
say.
you.
Well, that was just for the committee, though. That wasn't to do volunteer work.
Yep. Go ahead, please. And
Hamilton, 22798
Thank
Morris
you.
Slice Road, Stoutsville, Ohio. The reason why I wanted to come up here is I just want to let you know that these people in the community, I mean, you don't get people to come out on a night like this to come and express their concerns. And they really feel that the kids are important. And to me, it does not make sense that you'd have a tree committee, but you won't have a Parks and Rec committee for children. So you're basically saying trees are more important than children, which kind of makes no sense. That's not common sense, number one. And if you think about the nuisance committee and you clean up committee, I'm going to tell you, we have had lots of groups, ball teams, that come out and actually help with cleanup.
Yeah, we
Do
have
you
too.
want good civic citizens? You support the parks, you give them the foundation that they need, they're gonna come out and help you with your cleanup. Because guess what? You're supporting them and their endeavors. That's called leadership. And leadership starts with giving them that good foundation. And if you don't have a good parks committee, you aren't going to have those good citizens that you're looking for to help clean up. So I would say that you should rethink the process of the parks because there's plenty of grant money out there. You talked about ODNR. Guess what? ODNR probably could give you a grant to even help with your park as well, even more for safety and everything. All the wonderful things that you talked about are amazing. And I have to tell you, kudos to you with no money that you have gotten from council. And I say that you should rethink this, and you should really look at that and go look at other people's parks and find out what they're doing, because I'm gonna tell you, you guys have a gold mine right here at this park, it sounds like, and other people want to come to it. You should not destroy it by not having committee in it. So I think you should really rethink that, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at that point in time, we are.
One more.
Oh, one more?
Tamara Hall, 12135 Woods Opossum Run Road, Orient, Ohio. Look, I'm here representing two different organizations in the community. I represent the Mount Sterling Community Center. I am their vice chairman. I also represent what was formerly known as the Chamber of Commerce, but we just restructured, and we became the Mount Sterling, Ohio Community Association. And since I am hearing now that council wants to dissolve that committee to run the Parks and Recs Department, then I am here. I'm sure Becky is going to agree with me. I know we have Melanie that's here. She is the vice chair of the Community Association, that we will take that on. We will be that committee. We will bring it under our organization, and we will make sure that the kids are taken care of in this town. I know Kathy personally. I know a lot of people in this room personally. We will be the ones to execute and make sure that we fundraise and that we make sure that there is a future for this park and for the kids of Mount Sterling. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would be pleased to work with you.
The opportunity for volunteers, Tamara.
Be pleased to work with you on that. Last, go ahead.
Melanie?
I'm sorry, Kathy. Just one second. Go ahead.
I just want to read.
You have to state your name and address,
My
please.
name's Melanie Fritz, 471 Wingate Place South. I just want to bring up the point to you guys that if you make this community-based and you rely on the volunteerisms to run this, it shows lack of leadership from this town hall. There will be nobody from this town hall to apply for grants, to get money from other people to help grow. You have no representation up here. You're basically turning your back on your community if you do that.
That is
That-
not,
yeah,
that
that's
is not
not true.
accurate. We still are here to do grants. That is what the mayor and Courtney do. They do grants. We're looking at them now.
Are you going to be doing any for the park?
Absolutely. I just said earlier, we're looking at the aquatic grant. We can't do anything with that until
So
after the
you're,
first of the
if
month.
you don't have a committee, who makes the final decision on what to do with those grants if you do secure some?
The mayor.
The mayor.
No.
The council will do
All
that.
goes
All
to
of
council.
council.
Doesn't go to me.
So
It
it will
comes
go
to
to council as a
council.
whole and you guys will
Absolutely.
decide
Anything
as
that
a whole.
anyone wants to do can
Isn't
come
that
right.
against the rules of council? that-
It is
We
not.
do that anyway.
We do it anyway. Council has final
Council
approval.
has
Point of
final
order.
Order, please.
Point of order. This community member is speaking. You guys are not supposed to debate back
Point of
and forth
order.
with her. What?
Point of order.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
We got it.
She asked a question.
I do believe that if there was grant money to be spent, it is to be worked out at committee and then brought to council as a whole. The council as a whole is not to decide together how to use that money if you secure grant money. It has to be decided at committee level.
They can make recommendations, is my understanding. They make recommendations.
The final decisions are always made by council as to
Council makes
allocation of
final
dollars.
Correct, but if
So,
you, say you secure $80,000.
well, we secured
park.
108 last year, so go ahead.
Okay, so you secured 108. Who decides how that money's spent? It is always decided at committee level and brought to council as a whole. The fine details are worked out at committee. So are you telling me you don't want to spend $900 a year to have a committee, but you're willing to bring 6 members in here to do work sessions to figure out how to spend that money? That's ludicrous.
Good point.
Okay, other people.
Okay.
Kathy, you're up next, please.
I just want you guys to know that when West Jeff and London do come, the guy that runs West Jeff's program, baseball program, is also the head of their Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Very good.
So,
Very good.
you know, again, you know, just looking.
Well, we'll be happy to talk to him.
Yeah, give
Yeah.
us his name.
So, the more we can better our part to make it look good for people like him who come here, I
Absolutely.
think the better that we are.
Thanks,
All right.
Kathy.
Good deal. Thank you very
And-
much.
And just, if you don't mind, one more thing to address Melody. We would have one work session in regards to that versus 12 meetings. So it's a moot point as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, and on that note, there's no more official business for tonight, and all comments have been made. We are officially adjourned. Thank you. It's 8:06.
Good job,
Thanks, David.
Yeah, what a traitor. You think? He's gonna get out of here fast, don't you? I think he's gonna get out of here fast, don't you?
They're not gonna be able to, she's right.